I'm Craig Lounsborough. I want to welcome you to LifeTalk and our Christmas edition of our podcast. You know, your life is a story. So is mine. So is everyone's. There's a script to your life that's being written every day. Whether it's a paragraph or a page or just one line, a day never goes by where you don't add to that story. Some of that story you probably like. Some you don't. There are parts of the story that are good just the way they are. Then there are other parts of that story that you'd like to erase or rewrite or edit or rip out of the book or pretend that they never happened at all. And whatever the case might be, you've got a story. And whatever that story is, it's yours. Like it or not, it's yours. And those stories can affect us in a whole lot of different ways. They can make us feel happy or satisfied or fulfilled or accomplished or just good about being alive. But they can also make some of us feel very, very different. They can leave us feeling burdened with guilt or overwhelmed with regret or filled with self-hatred or wrecked with jealousy or feeling completely hopeless because of all of the dark and genuinely nasty stuff that we've written into those stories over all of those years. And because this is often how we feel, we're desperate to erase those stories altogether, or rewrite them, or edit out the dark and nasty parts, or rip those parts right out of the book altogether, or pretend that they never happened and that they're not in the story at all. And in order to pull that off, some of us self-medicate against whatever our story is because it's just too hard to deal with. Or we pursue one relationship after another, hoping that that will somehow help us soothe the pain of our histories or give us something different to focus on. Some of us immerse ourselves in our careers, believing that success in our chosen field is the best shot that we have at offsetting all of the failures that populate our stories. Others of us spend our lives creating whatever narratives we need to create in order to make the painful parts of our stories a product of fate, or politics in the workplace, or the greed of a spouse who chose another life with another person, or the outcome of parents who didn't know how to parent, or life doing what life does to people sometimes. We take whatever our stories are, and in whatever way that we do it, we try to erase them or rewrite them, or edit them, or rip the painful pages out of the book, or pretend that all of that stuff never happened in the first place. But the story remains the story, regardless of what we attempt to do with it. And we end up not only being haunted by the dark and nasty stories that we've all written, we're haunted by the fact that there's nothing that we can do to alter them or get rid of them. And at some point, sooner or later, we end up feeling trapped by our own story. We feel that we're a prisoner of the choices that we've made. We feel that we'll never be able to shake the shame, or release ourselves from the guilt, or overcome the feelings of inadequacy, or beat the sense of failure, or offset the embarrassment. And we feel all of that stuff has become the hallmark of our existence. It's become our identity. It's what we walk in and walk through every single day. And we see no escape. You know, the nature of our humanity is that sometimes we dig holes that we don't have ladders for. We build bridges, but we destroy them before we ever get the chance to walk across them. We put ourselves in places that are beyond all of the resources that we have to save ourselves from whatever or wherever those places are. We create our own prisons and we become both the prisoner and the warden of our own self-inflicted incarceration. And we can't get out. Consider this quote. "I'm not certain that the greatest thrill was actually being rescued. Rather, I think that the greatest thrill was finally realizing that I would be." And the cry of an infant 2,000 years ago was that realization. That's Christmas. It's our rescue. It's our prison break. It eliminates our need to erase or rewrite or edit or rip out parts of the book or pretend that they never happened at all. Christmas eliminates all of that. But how is that possible? Well, it's simple. God reversed himself and became a human, reversing himself even further by becoming a newborn human. He was born to an impoverished teenage couple in a barn that sat in the obscurity of a backwater town called Bethlehem that was located completely off the map of commerce and importance. He entered the world about as far from any kind of political stage or religious hierarchy or privileged status that he could find. And the endgame of his birth, of this thing that we call Christmas, was the fact that 33 years later, he would die to pay an infinite price, to have us restored to an infinitely loving God that we had ignorantly walked away from. He made everything right when everything was wrong. Or to put it another way, Christmas is deliverance delivered. Jesus is our deliverance, our rescue. He is our prison break. He eliminates the need to erase or rewrite or edit or rip out parts of the book or pretend that they never happened at all. Jesus eliminates all of that. He takes your guilt. He heals your regret. He removes your self-hatred. He eliminates your jealousy, and he gives you hope. And all of that is his gift to you, given at the cost of his own life, a trade of him for us. And that gift is ours today, tomorrow, and forever. There's no story that he cannot heal, and that includes your story.